Welcome back to Week 6, and join with me at the Xfinity desk, none other than Tom T-Squared Taylor.
That was a crazy series, Kyle.
That was, every series has been pretty crazy so far, in my opinion. A lot of things I was not expecting to see, from CLG losing a game to watching like a best of 9 game series is what we just kind of witnessed there. So I don't even know what was happening, but Renegades kind of still convincingly coming out and securing that win there. So big props to them.
Yeah, Renegades, like I was saying before, they were one of the favorites going into the HCS Pro League to be that number 2, number 3 contender. I think today they kind of proved that they at least deserve to be in that talk for being in the top 4. And like commonly said, that's exactly where they want to be.
Absolutely. Now, I definitely want to give some love to the community here. Of course, starting out with Onset. Onset is always on the grind, always picking up North American players to kind of hop online, cast some of those European matches, when they're off stream there. So putting up a great job by him and the rest of the group. Thanks to everyone else that actually goes on the show with him, and sacrifices your time in order to do that. The community loves it. Everyone's watching it, and I get on and watch it every morning as well. Great
stuff with Spartan, with Ryanoob, all of these guests. Love to see the passion that the community has.
And of course, Halo Data Hive. This is one I wasn't as familiar with, but I had some time to play around on the website and get familiar with it. A lot of great information there, stats-wise, player-wise, lots of similar things, and just great central hub for all the different pro players and people competing in the game as well. And then, of course, you have the Listenin'.
Yeah, the Listenin' with Ace, your broham. So, definitely check it out. Optic Ace, and, has a lot of great things to talk about, just about strategy, what it's like living in the Optic house. You guys can check that out down below. It's esl.gg/HCS Listenin' 5. So this is the number 5, and Tashi343 doing such great work bringing this content to us. If you haven't checked out the Listen-ins yet, I highly recommend that you do so. There's some really great thought-provoking questions that they're bringing to the table. So really looking forward to see what everyone thinks about the conversation with Ace.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we had a few extra hours or so, we could kind of go into that in depth with players, but they do a great job of grabbing them and going over that information and asking, as far as especially competitive players, what they really want to know from Ace and all the fans as well. So great job. Those listen-ins are great. And of course, we do have our next match of the night, and that is going to be another big one. We have Team Envyus, who is, arguably one of the second best teams here, going up against Team Allegiance. And of course, this is the new revitalized Team Allegiance that's been coming out and doing work, whether or not they have Rami or whether or not when Ryanoob came back and started participating again. This team has been on fire and doing great things.
And what's so interesting, Kyle, is the difference in play styles by the two guys. I mean, Rami is a guy that likes to stay alive, a little bit of a slayer, not much objective work. When you look at Ryanoob, that's pretty much what he's all about, always preaching objectives. So curious to see if they're going to be able to ride that momentum. They know after seeing that series against EG and Renegades that Renegades has this record, to get into that top 4 area, and Allegiance is going to have to follow suit if they still want to be in that position to try to make it to the LAN tournament that commonly was talking about before.
And let's go ahead and take a look at Team Envyus in particular. We've got Pistola, followed by Mikwin, Rain, and L-Town. Now, this was, as anyone that's been watching this season so far can always remember that series they had with CLG where they fell just short, almost the first guys to take down those Goliaths of CLG. But they got no easy task ahead of them here today as well, because they are going to be going up against Team Allegiance. Yeah,
and one of the things is L-Town, one of the most underrated players, I think, as well. So looking out for him and taking a look at the Allegiance roster here, Ryanoob, obviously, Heinz, Contra, pre-Devonator. Contra and Devonator placed top 4 at Halo World Championships. Ryanoob has been competing since 2010 in Halo 3. I would say one of the best teammates that I've ever had, next to this guy sitting next to me here. The way that he just thinks about winning as a whole, it's really unmatched in the way that he plays the game. And you also have another ruthless player on that team as well. Heinz replaced Goofy on the roster during the transfer period.
Appreciate the love there, Tom. And, let's talk about Heinz a little bit further as well, as he's absolutely one of the most selfless players in the game, right there. And I like a lot about what we saw from Lunchbox as well. Sometimes just going for those camo burns, doing the same things. Throw in the sniper off the map if you have to, as opposed to going for a no-scope. He placed top 8 at Halo World Championships. I had the honor of coaching him there as well. and placed top 3 at every event in 2015. So that was something I did not know right away as well.
Yeah, one of the things that I value really highly in teams is a player that can really do it all. I think a lot of people, have their strengths and weaknesses, but it's really rare to see a player that really excels in all different atmospheres of what attributes that you're looking in when it comes to a player, whether that's things inside the game, like doing the objective, a good shot, good map movement, but things outside the game. You see a huge fan of New York sports teams, so obviously knows when it comes to competing, what it's like to play on a team, and his communication and all of those things. So overall, he's just a really great guy and just a really solid overall player.
And of course, love his family as well. Big shout out to Papa Hines as well, as he's always longtime supporter of esports and Hines and everyone in the community.
You're pretty much having the two Halo dads, I would say. You have Pistola's dad, who's always there supporting him, and then you have Hines' dad's supporting him as well. So I'm sure it's going to be a nail biter for these guys as they're watching at home.
Not only that, but you got Mickwin's dad, who's been
Mickwin
a lot
as well,
more
Papa
active.
Mickwin.
Papa Mickwin. So he's always been around, or popping in a lot more here now, seeing him make a presence. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the game types, see how these teams are going to face off. Of course, we are going to be looking at Plaza Strongholds, so kind of pick up where we left off in the previous series, followed up by a Coliseum Slayer. Game 3, Fathom Capture the Flag, and should we need 4 and 5, we're looking at Rig Strongholds and then Plaza Slayer.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of these game types popping up here, and that is because of the veto system. Also, these are pretty competitive game types when you really look at it. I'm really curious to see how all of these games are going to play out, but particularly Slayer Coliseum, because we haven't seen that yet today. That leaves a lot of opportunity for constant rotations, spawn trapping, usually a really hectic map. So really looking forward to casting that one. And Plaza Strongholds, what I'm looking for is who's going to necessarily be controlling, and are they going to be looking for that triple cap? I always think that's the big question in Strongholds, is knowing when you want to over pursue and get the triple caps, or when you want to back off and just have control.
And it got some interesting stats as well here. So Envyus has actually played this game type twice. They're 1-1 on it. And Allegiance has actually played it 5 times. And they are 3-2, and let's not forget that crazy comeback we saw last week was in fact Allegiance doing it to Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, so I can't really say if anyone necessarily has the advantage, that anyone's better at the certain game type. I think this is going to be a really close series, and I think the fact that Renegades won their series against EG adds a little bit more pressure now onto Allegiance to perform. Are they going to live up to the hype here? Are they going to perform better, or are they going to perform worse under this pressure?
And we do have the players in the game here. 100 points to win. Strongholds on Plaza. Of course, the overshield is going to be a big determining factor as well. Constantly teams going back and forth.
You mean the camouflage? The camouflage. Overshield is in the Slayer, but this one is on Strongholds. But yes, camo, very, very important, Kyle. Bottom, middle, and nest control, we're always preaching how important that is. And it looks like there are tons of grenades coming out from Hines. And it looks like Allegiance is going to elect to just slow play this one, not really push into the nest area. And Hines isn't really in the best position to start that game, because he's not necessarily going for a stronghold, but he makes up with it with some really nice shots on Mickwin, who had positioning, who had first shot. And there they go, capturing the nest and now making their way towards bottom mid.
Not only that, Pistola with that camo was taken out as well. So great opening strategy from Allegiance. Little uncharacteristic. Nobody on either team went directly for that camo, but then Pistola tried to grab it, thought he could get away, but it's taken out. Hines doing it big. I'm so glad we stayed on board with him, and the fact that he is in this position is just so annoying for the rest of the players on Envy. He can just sit there and lay down shots. The fact that they didn't choke the spawns is actually pretty big. That's not on Hines. That was on somebody else, probably whoever was closest to that fight, probably Contra and Devin. So he's in perfect position laying down all these shots. They do need to get that nest recaptured, but Hines, an unstoppable force to stop this game, or start this game. All right, I'm just going to pull up the stats real quick. How many kills? 6 kills from him, 4 from Contra, just doing work to get this one started. The only 2 members on the team that have any. Now let's take a look, swap over here, see what Envyus is doing. But Hines off to a great start.
Yeah, Hines with the great start. It's just so unfortunate that his teammates weren't in the right position and didn't choke those spawns on that back wall and down by where that camo used to spawn. And all of the kills in the world don't really matter at this point when you're getting triple capped on. And it's just hard to stop this bleeding now, because you've done so well and you have to continue to do even better now. So you know, Allegiance needs to be a little bit more aware of the spawns and where they're going and communicate just a little bit more on who's going to anchor that nest. But they have no problem apparently retaking setups.
And with that, 3 members just went down for Envyus. They have control. I'd like to see them start capturing this nest, and they do finally jump in that hill. But just like that, Predeminator had dropped down in order to go help kill the last player alive. All of Envyus runs by them trying to get control of nest, but just like that, they all die again, and Heinz is maybe going to be able to grab this one. I didn't expect 2 members of Allegiance to also drop there.
Yeah, Devin in a little tricky spot here. He's solo capping, which is pretty hard. He has this fight against L-Town, which is big. He ends up getting that kill, so that's absolutely important for the side of Allegiance. Now they do contest the bottom mid, so now the triple cap on the side of Allegiance. So Envy doing a really great job of pushing and prioritizing kills. However, Devin and the rest of Allegiance doing a superb job of at least just spreading out now and realizing the mistakes that they made originally.
Yeah, I mean, he did throw McWin out of Zoom and went for a challenge here, thinking he was going to pick up the kill, but McWin says no, rezooms in, gets that headshot, takes him out, stays alive for a little bit longer, but then ultimately dies once again. So great control by Allegiance. They're in the hotel spot. They're here top gold. They're a lot of fighting going on, actually. 2 members just drop everywhere.
But the thing is they don't have anyone over at Snipe side, Kyle. We just saw perfectly from Rhino's point of view. Yeah, everyone's in pretty prime position, but if anyone was S4 on their team, that would have been huge. They could have laid down the shots. They could have easily controlled Nest. They could have stopped a bottom middle push. They could have stayed alive. However, now they're just desperate and trying to get the reset. Meanwhile, everyone on Envy knows exactly what's going on. They want to try to get that Nest control. So that's twice we've seen Allegiance leave this. I don't want to see them make that mistake again. Someone has to anchor. I don't know if that's part of their strategy, and I just don't know it, but to me, it doesn't seem any sane person would want to give up nest control.
That is a good point. You know, I would say the same thing. Like maps like Eden, we've seen the stronghold control kind of vary, but for Plaza, you know, Yard is just so taken out of the fight that you just can't really hold those 2, especially if you're, you know, respawning in that nature. So still great control in favor of Allegiance.
Yeah. And Heinz doing what we were talking about right there, going S4, finally being that anchor, laying down the shots. I will see how he plays this one, because he could potentially just control 2 strongholds with his one singular position. You can control bottom mid and you can control nest from this. So Pistola caught out of position trying to get a kill, and it looks like now Heinz is going to leave that position to go and challenge this kill bottom middle, which I do feel is the right play. As soon as he does try to clear these guys out, though, he needed to try to rotate back, but no help was coming from the side of Allegiance.
So several members dropping, although Envy not able to get control. Still both hills in favor of Allegiance. So Ola trying to put up a fight, but he's starting to get sandwiched on as well. Contra stays alive, and now 1v1. Ryan McWin. McWin, great thrust backwards, create that extra distance.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You want to create that extra distance. You're going against assault rifle. You have a pistol out. You want to make sure you distance yourself. And even though it hasn't been the perfect game coming out from Allegiance, they're still in pretty prime position to be able to continue this lead. L-Town trying to push his way towards bottom middle. The thing is if it's not working for Envy, trying to go bottom middle over and over again, maybe they should try to do originally what they did before, which was try to go straight for the nest. So Contra holding down bottom middle, has people behind him and isn't going to shoot him, and it looks like now finally Envy realizing, okay, we can't continue to desperate towards bottom middle. We need to try to make a play on the most important part of the map, picking up 2 kills, possibly 3 here if he can finish that player off. That's a huge kill that Contra could have potentially got away with, but he gets taken out, and now Envy's starting to score.
That was pretty, I don't know if I liked what we saw at Contra there. He was in bottom middle hill. As soon as he got out, you could see some other player was in the hill starting to capture it. He never refocused back to bottom center. They didn't really pick up many kills, and control just went right back in the favor of Envyus.
Yeah, he was kind of playing that one like King of the Hill instead of strongholds. He was inside the strongholds trying to contest it. Like if someone was to get into it, they would immediately capture points instead of repositioning himself. But again, even though they have been making mistakes, they have a pretty comfortable lead. They're up about 40 points at this point of the game, and they're in good position because they still do have Nest, which gives them the advantage when it comes to spawns, which means taking bottom middle isn't that difficult.
And always a great feeling when you see a player slide thrust right in front of you and you've got an SMG, just knowing you're going to melt this guy's face almost instantly. Rain with the plasma pistol combo, and they are starting to build back on this lead, and like we've seen it before, and Allegiance knows better than anybody, this game is not over till it's over.
Yeah, and this is their opportunity while Allegiance is capturing capturing yard to make their way towards Nest and get that ideal setup. As you can see, they now have bottom, middle, and Nest, and Camo should be coming up soon. So it's up to them to really hold this setup. I feel like if they give up Camo, or if they do give up positioning and they do fall right there, which Heinz drops down and gets a double kill, then they're not going to really have many more pushes after that. After they lose this bottom middle hill, they're only going to have probably 2 pushes left before this game ends. So that was an absolutely huge double kill from Heinz.
And so that yard is going to go over to Envyus. They're not going to try to contest it, but Rain charging out way too early, getting taken out. Now, Heinz will drop as well, but is it going to be enough, or are they just dying too fast? You got 2 members dead now for Allegiance. Devonator is going to be taken out as well. We got to hop on board with Envyus, see if they're going to be able to recapture control here.
Yeah, and here's Mikwin doing the right play, double capping this with his teammate. Now, if I was Allegiance, I'd be looking to control bottom mid as long as possible, and don't even try to get Nest probably here. I would just take the yard, I would take bottom middle, and just do my best to hold this kind of poor man setup, which they're trying to do. And as you can see, Ryanoob on the same page, but Envy kind of a step ahead of them as well, realizing that this is their play. So Heinz down there, the body's just constantly flooding. Mikwin doing his best to stay alive. L-Town doing his best, and I love this play from Allegiance. They realize we have to get this bottom middle hill. We cannot give up bottom middle, and once they kind of clear these players out, it's up to them where if they either want to go towards the nest or the yard, depending on what the spawns are.
All right, I don't even know who to go on board with, as everyone is just dying bottom mid, but Mikwin just picked up so many kills there. Right, so many people dying everywhere, and Envyus starting to bring it back a little bit. They're about to grab bottom mid.
Yeah, they get bottom middle here, but they don't actually finish it off. So they finally end up getting bottom middle, and they don't have Nest. It looks like they do have that yard bottom middle setup. So again, kind of a 4-man setup here. They're going to make their way over towards the Nest, but Ryanoob's already there. And now, you know, 97 to 75. This one could go any way, Kyle. I'm not really sure who has the advantage here. Whoever's going to come up with the kills and the slays do. But, you know, they're scoring, but it's not going to be enough because now the Nest is taken from Envy. So this one could potentially go down to 198 or 199, the way that we've been seeing this one plan out. Bottom middle is going to be the focus here for both teams. It's just going to be an all-out brawl, and whoever gets the slays is going to walk away with this one.
And great teamwork from Rain and Pistola bottom center. Seeing 2 people hide behind that car, that's one of the times you wish you had a grenade in your pocket. He did not, but great overall teamwork there. Contra charging bottom center. He might get double teamed before he really has much help. You just got to be careful here.
Yeah, bad push from Contra. Maybe a little bit of desperation setting in when it doesn't need to set in. He just needed to wait for one of his teammates here. There's no way you're going to be able to solo capture bottom middle. He's coming off the spawn right now, and he does have teammates contesting this. So this is the opportunity. This is pretty much game here. Whoever can capture this, it looks like that's going to be Allegiance. I don't think that Envy's going to have the resources it takes to come back here in game 1, going over to Allegiance. That was back and forth as it can get.
It really, really was. And taking a look at the slays, Allegiance clearly outslaying Envyus and only winning that 193. They gave up a lot of points at the end, and it really looked like they were starting to get flustered. And that was the exact opposite of what we saw with them against Evil Geniuses just a short time ago. The captures were relatively similar here across the board. Secures still relatively similar as well, you know, but still in the favor of Allegiance.
The
slays, 193.
The slay is just so much in the favor of Allegiance that you got to be a little concerned going into the actual Slayer game type, because, you know, the objective, there was definitely some mistakes on the side of Allegiance. We saw Contra go in there, push in bottom center with the desperation. I am so shocked that after that play, Envy wasn't able to capitalize on the numbers advantage, knowing that Allegiance had to push in from the runway and go towards bottom middle. I'm curious to see how that happened, or if someone was out of position, but we saw a lot of mistakes throughout the game. However, Allegiance able to walk away with a really close one and capitalize on mistakes more often than Envy.
And this is Allegiance going up against Team Envyus. Do you imagine if Envyus loses this game, is that going to create an opportunity for any other teams to try to battle into that top 4? I mean, with Evil Geniuses just now losing, you know, I don't know if it's going to be a possibility, but that's something we're definitely going to take a look at tonight, because, I mean, Allegiance is a whole new squad, and they're still out here proving it now. Whether or not they got Ryanoob or they got Rami, they just beat Envyus game 1.
I believe mathematically there are 5 teams in the 4th and 5th spot. I believe it's going to be Renegades, and then it's going to be Allegiance, but I don't think any of those teams in the 2nd or 3rd place are guaranteed a way into that final LAN tournament here to conclude HCS Pro League season number 1. 1. So you gotta, again, we'll look at the numbers tonight and we'll let you guys continue to know, but mathematically there are 5 teams left in Allegiance showing that they do want to be there and that they belong there taking that first game.
And that was, although it was pretty close, I was pretty convinced with how they were playing the game. A couple mistakes at the end and they were still able to close it out. Like once Contra died bottom middle, right towards the end of that game, I thought that was Envyus' opportunity to kind of bring it back or close it out. But as soon as he comes off spawn, they're not able to kind of really capitalize on anything else or get back into position, and they just fall short.
Right, and stats-wise, what really surprised me is we talked about Ryan Noob's objective work, but he had the most kills in the game. And what's a little concerning if you're an Envy fan is we saw what Heinz's point of view looked like in the beginning of that game, coming out hot with those 6 kills, getting that killing spree. Just imagine what Ryan Noob's point of view looked like if he didn't even have a hot start and ends up with the most kills in the game as an objective player. So definitely a little bit alarming here. Moving into the next game though, it will be Coliseum Slayer. Fresh start here if you are Envy. You are down 1-0 in the series, but you know, no worries here. They're definitely one of the top teams and they definitely are going to be able to bounce back from that single loss.
Now, game 2 is going to be Coliseum Slayer. Now, Team Allegiance is 2-1 on this game type. Of course, a little bit different with, you know, the roster swap, but they're going up against a NBA squad that is 1-0, so have yet to drop this game. We do have the players getting ready into the game, so let's take a look at this map. T-Squared, what is going to happen and who do you want to start off with?
I want to start off with Ryan Noob to start this one. I believe he probably still does the same thing. I don't know, since the battle rifle was moved, if he continues to do that little thrust jump over towards where that DMR now spawns. But you have snipers spawning at the snipe side, you have rockets going top rocket side, and this is Ryan Noob, and he is going to be doing that little thrust jump over there to grab. Oh, he doesn't grab the DMR. He makes his way over towards Mikwin, so he'd much rather get the first shots on these guys first. Meanwhile, Olaf flying out, Heinz picking up a kill. That may be able to secure the rocket side of the map, but it doesn't look like anybody from Allegiance made their way over there, so curious to see where those landed up, and they are in L-Town's hands, so let's hop on board with L-Town and see what he's bringing to the table. He has 2 rockets left, but yet they are still down by 1 kill.
That was a great start. I really liked Ryan Noob's map movement there. You could just sick thrust back and forth instead of jumping up and, you know, dropping down. Different angles he was taking, avoiding nades, avoiding shots, avoiding angles. Really like what we're seeing from him to start this game.
Yeah, and he ends up picking up the rockets at the same time. So nice 6-3 lead here for the side of Allegiance, already up 1-0 in the series. So it's going to be up to Envy to stop the momentum coming out from Allegiance. It's going to come down to a big turning point, and not really sure when that would happen for the side of Envy or if it would happen. But you definitely can't be rocketing yourself if Ryan knew. Maybe that's what you need if you're the side of Envy. Just a little bit of luck or a mistake coming out from the side of Allegiance.
I mean, I liked everything I saw from Ryan Noob right up until he rocketed himself. He could have easily killed that player. He was crouching. He had the advantage. That rocket kill, like that's one of the best places to even have rockets because you just shoot up and hit and kill him. But what you can't do is shoot up and kill yourself. So big misplay by Ryan Noob.
Yeah, I'm not expecting that play be in his tips video anytime soon. But either way, Contra movement making his way over here towards the pyramid. And that's one of the things about Contra is he's really methodical in his map movement, and he really likes to push on this side of the map, which makes it really annoying when you have someone that's so comfortable going to a same power position over and over again. And that's why it's so crucial to get that kill on him. So let's see what Rain has to offer. We haven't watched much to him this series, making his way towards the pyramid, as well as Ryan Noob crouching below him. So Ryan Noob has the advantage. Also has a guy one shot right to his right. I don't think that he knew that player was there. Rain turns around, does a 180, gives Ryan Noob a little slap in the face. Now a 14-11 lead here for the side of Envy, and that rocket play actually was a pretty big momentum swinger here. Now Envy with the lead.
That was way more of a momentum swing than I could have ever even anticipated happening in that scenario. Just one rocket and 1 kill, you know, could have resulted in them maintaining snipe control, but instead we're seeing like an 8 to 10 kill swing.
Yeah, and once you get, you know, rotating here, and once you get the weapons, L-Town with the weapons here, let's see what he can do with the rockets. Misses one, has 2 left, gets taken out by Devonator with the grenade, so those rockets will fall down. Allegiance knows that they're down there, so they continue to bait it. Pistola tried to grab those. Heinz hitting him with the nades. Heinz picking up the double kill, so Allegiance on the comeback here after originally losing their lead, and just really nice map movement from Ryan is going to allow him to get that trade. Meanwhile, L-Town making his way back over towards those rockets too, and Rain has the help over towards the pyramid side.
Kind of an interesting trade. That's not something I would have gone for. I felt like he didn't have the advantage, so I would have backed up, and instead he jumped up and went for the challenge. It's all right this early in the game, but maybe a little bit over-aggressive for my liking.
Yeah, I think he expected some sort of team help or just wasn't anticipating that that player would have been there. If he could have eliminated that guy, he would have had really great control to flank the rest of these guys. But what do you do when you're L-Town and you have 3 people on your radar? You get the Top Gun medal and you trade kills is what you do. So L-Town having a pretty impressive performance after a slow start to this series in that game 1 with least kills on his team. And this game is neck and neck, just like the first game was.
And now you want to take a look at Pistola. He's seen so many great things from him before. He's trying to get the sniper rifle. He wants it really, really bad, but he ends up getting taken out as well. Rydoob is just all over the place here.
Yeah, you see everyone just constantly flooding snipe side and no one really committing towards the rocket side. I think what I would do, I would probably try to at least send one player over towards the rocket side to try to get the angles on these guys on the catwalk. That would be really good for Envy, or they potentially just want to sprint the heck out of there and go to the other base through the shot, through the scatter shot area to try to split the spawns up. So big map control coming out from the side of Allegiance, but Rain getting these rockets and doing a really nice flank over there at the right time.
And see, like, he knows players are over there in the kill feed. You can see L-Town also has the scatter shot, but Rydoob backing up just out of rocket range and picking up a perfect kill.
L-Town somehow getting a triple kill while all this is going down. Let's see how many kills he has. He has the sniper rifle and the scatter shot, 14 and 5. We're going to stick on board with him for a while. That's a pretty impressive stat line, especially when, you know, your teammates are kind of falling all around. He's still picking up triple kills. So really like the way that he's playing this one again. Really slow start to the first game, completely making up and playing to his full potential in this second game. He really is in prime position as well. So let's see. Oh, lands the no-scope to the body on Rydoob. Hits the second one. That's a killing spree. Airborne, even staying alive. No shields. So pretty impressive play coming out from the side of Envy. They have all of the weapons. They have the control. As long as they can just keep these weapons and not give away any free kills, they should be in pretty prime position to walk away with this one.
I was going to say, when you lift up or you're at snipe spawn and you see a guy top catwalk and no teammates to finish off the kill, that is like worst case scenario when you have sniper scatter shot. But instead, he just hits 2 body shots, picks up that kill. A phenomenal heads-up play by L-Town.
Yeah, those were huge shots, and I like the way that he's just constantly moving around the map. I think he's a little out of position. I probably would have stayed on the flag. It's still a really nice kill, picking up that headshot, getting the power player, meaning he's been controlling the weapons throughout this game. So overall, you know, love the fact that he's just controlling things for his team. However, even with these impressive stats, I believe he's about 15 and 5 right now. It's only a 4-kill lead. So if I was on Allegiance's side, I'd be like, all right, guys, this guy's going off. We have to find him. Where is he with the weapons? There he is, and they finally get the kill, and they're only down by 2.
Let's take a look at Heinz as he's going to grab both of these weapons. It's 40 to 38. Just take a quick look at the stats. 17 and 6 now at this point. And we'll get out of there and see what Heinz is going to do with this weapon. He's been deadly with it before. And let's see here.
He's in a good position. He's in a really good position. I like where he's at. He's on the elbow, so he can, you know, lay down shots on anyone that's coming out of the window like Ola's at, or anyone that's potentially going towards the fountain. You need to hit those headshots, though, because if he can get those kills, rockets are coming up, and he needs to be able to bait those. However, L-Town on top of it. Let's switch on board with L-Town really quick, Kyle, if we can, just to see what he's doing with the rockets, because he's been going absolutely bananas this game.
And a great clutch rocket and a nice thrust to stay alive. And he doesn't betray his teammate.
Oh my gosh, he doesn't know that guy's in the cave though, so there is a player hiding in the cave. However, only 4 kills for Envy to win, 10 kills for Allegiance to win. Rockets in the hands of L-Town should give them a huge advantage. Heinz finally picking up some kills with that sniper rifle, but yet L-Town still hasn't been stopped this entire game, so they need to figure out where he's coming from, and they don't have him on radar, so nice little sneaky play here, Kyle.
And Mikwin has a sniper as well, so this is not looking good. They don't even know he's there, but he's about to suicide. He does not have to. Heinz does not know he's there. The scatter shot grabs 2 kills.
What a game from L-Town. 21 and 6. I was talking about beforehand how he was such an underrated player on this team. Everyone loves to give the hype to, you know, Mikwin, Pistola. However, Rain, and especially L-Town on that second place team there at Halo World Championships. Everyone always talking about Nated and what he's doing, never really talking about L-Town, and now he's making a statement himself with this 21 and 6 performance. That's positive 15 in a win by only 9.
Good math there as well, Tom. I appreciate you doing that for me. That was taking a look at some of the stats here. he was doing whatever he wanted to do. I've seen him do this many times before on Regret, especially when he was on Allegiance, but not something you see a lot on Coliseum from any player in particular. You know, you see it from Royal 2 and such on the Coliseum flag, but rarely do you see this big of stats from any individual players here. He was just doing great things all game. 3 players around him in that scenario and still picks up a trade. Look how close the game was at this point. Just doing fantastic work, and the scatter shot hit. Look at all those hit markers there from that weapon, using it as like a sniper rifle, and just like that, this series is all tied up.
What he was doing such a great job of is giving what was taken to him, right? He went and just sprinted, grabbed those rockets when Heinz was looking away, just exploiting the weaknesses. And Allegiance there is, you know, what L-Town shined in that, and that's why he was able to go 21-6. And without him being able to exploit those weaknesses, without being able to get those weapons, it could be a 2-0 series right now in the favor of Allegiance.
And not only that, but that makes now Envyus 2-0 on Slayer Coliseum. So, you know, wouldn't surprise me to see some of those game types maybe get vetoed next time around.
Well, could you ban the scatter shot so L-Town can't get it? Because that seems to be, you know, what his key was there.
That I mean, using that sniper when he got that kill top catwalk,
that was
and
huge.
Then having sniper scatter shot and taking it top rockets, that is a ballsy play there. That is not something you're going to see very often. Normally you see people sneaking around in the mazes with scatter shot, not charging out top rockets with it.
Right, and like I was saying, they had opportunities to go up towards top rockets and get the angles on those people over at snipe. You can't have more than one person doing that. If you send 2 people towards the rocket side, it's going to take way too long to actually maintain snipe control. So if you have your teammates actually going towards the snipe and you know that you can go up towards top rockets, it's going to give you a really important angle that you can't get from anywhere else on the map, especially when the carbine's been added up there, or if you have the sniper, for example. And we saw L-Town do it. We also saw Rain do it when those rockets were coming up. So Allegiance needs to realize, all right, 50-41, we didn't really have the weapons, you know, that often in that game. When we did, we kind of had that mistake when Ryan shot that rocket into the wall. So when it comes to Fathom CTF, they're definitely going to have to make sure that they're controlling things. But overall, taking a look at the team record, 6-2 on CTF Fathom for Allegiance, 0-1 for the side of Envy. So I'd have to give the advantage to Allegiance. They've played this game type 8 times, Colin, won it 6.
Yeah, I think last week might have been the first time. They ended up losing it twice in the same week, but they were essentially undefeated prior to that, beating everybody on this game type. So Capture Flag Fathom, clearly Allegiance does well here. You know, we've still got some of the core members that had so much success, and they're going up against the Envyus squad, like you said, that has not won this one single time.
And let's stick with Contra here, because we haven't seen much coming from Contra's point of view. So it looks like he's going to make his way towards the railgun, a little methodical play. Spots a player on his radar towards the left. That was probably L-Town that got taken out. Shifts his focus towards top center and sees that another player is taken down. Meanwhile, is that Ryan already running the flag? So if he's able to get this kill, he's not. So Ola able to take out Ryan. Contra needed to maybe jump top center, be a little bit more exposed, distract for the flag guy, and not able to really do anything with the railgun. Meanwhile, L-Town has a flag pulled out, and he's pushing this one over towards top center, slow playing.
Oh, he gets in this 1v1 here with Predeminator. Better nades being thrown by Predeminator, although you can see in the kill feed, Heinz pick up a nice ground pound. Predeminator does get that flag returned as well, so nobody quite able to capitalize on these beginning early starts.
Yeah, and Devin looking for the silo spawns, but didn't realize that those players had already spawned and made their way over towards the engine. There could be a possible player coming up from behind him that we don't know about either, so there it is. That internal clock needs to be ticking when also keeping track of the spawns, but a nice job of staying alive. Devin holding this top center area. Contra pushing in, getting a nice double kill with the perfect as well, but nobody necessarily able to push in towards the flag quite yet.
And Ola in that battle picks up one on Contra, grins another great 1v1 kill on Ryanoob, and that's going to absolutely stop them from being able to run this flag. He just cleans up 3 people.
Yeah, Pistola being a wizard like always, cleaning up those kills, stopping that cap. It's a matter of just maintaining control now and also making sure that your teammates push into the right spot. However, a couple crouchers around the corner. That's going to be Richie Hines taking out the railgun guy, taking out his old teammate and good friend Pistola. And meanwhile, we do have another flag that is out for the side of Envy, but I don't think they're going to be able to do much with this one.
And Range trying to do what he can, picks up 1 kill, and now that he gets taken out, that was just amazing play by Pistola. They absolutely could have kept the flag.
Heinz staying on the map, but I believe his flag is out, and I don't think that they have a flagpole on the side of Allegiance either. So let's go through the kill feed really quick and see. Let's scroll through.
Yeah, taking a look just real quick here is KDA 3.1. Both flags are currently out.
So we have a standoff
on the map. Yeah, so standoff currently with the new camo coming up and spawning. So whoever grabs this is going to be a big determining factor.
Yeah, well, also Allegiance picking up 2 kills is going to be pretty big at the same time. Heinz gets spawned on from behind. If he's able to do the 180 on L-Town and get the reversal, that was disgusting coming out from Heinz. That should be able to get these guys in position to return the flag. I like that they tossed the flag out, so now this guy top center could potentially bait it. He does have a nade. That is the kill. That's going to be Ola. That's also the camo guy trying to go for the return. They're calling out that I'm going for the return. However, that grenade also did hit the camo guy, so his position was given up. Now he's dead. So it looks like the flag isn't going to be able to return for Allegiance while they had a huge advantage.
I really thought they were going to get that. Heinz kind of clambered up on the platform, so he wasn't able to get to the flag maybe quite as quickly as he liked. They really needed to have a double cap return there, essentially, or both players jumping on it. You just return the flag so much more quickly, but kind of a little bit of a missed opportunity here from Allegiance.
Well, also, Ola's completely out of position. I mean, he's going to try to go into the elbow and try to get that return, but he committed to that return while his teammates were dying. So, yeah, he's going to be able to get the pull. And also, one of the things that you got to be really worried about when you're going against a player like Ryanoob or just any one of these pro teams in general is that when you're in a standoff, you have to be very careful of not only the counter caps, but also the double caps. And as you can see, Pistola has this flag out, but yet we're going to get into another standoff here. So Allegiance ruthless with the objective, thinking about more than just 1 cap, and obviously has had the upper hand in these standoffs. However, Rain getting a nice little sneaky return. L-Town trying to push this flag, and is Devin going to be able to get the pull in time? He doesn't, and that's tied up 1-1 now. L-Town getting the better at Devin and letting him know about it.
He absolutely was letting him know about it, but he in fact gets taken out as well. Richie Heinz doing what he can to stay alive. No shields. Ooh. I don't know if he owned Pistola there or not, but it was definitely a big kill for him, grabbing a double in that case. So let's take a look. Hop on board with L-Town. Saw him be a monster last game. See if he's got any of that left in store here, or left in the tank for game 3.
Yeah, interesting push when the railgun and camo's coming up to kind of go over towards the silo. He is getting some really nice shots onto Ryanoob. Ryanoob had the railgun though, so that's a pretty nice trade overall. Looks like Richie Heinz going to try to clean that one up. Mikwin's over there trapped in the elbow, so Heinz probably going to try to make his way over towards that camo ASAP. Has a player helping him at the same time. Not really sure when that camo was picked up, but a really nice shot from Heinz trying to stay alive with his shields, but whoever was over there kind of bailed on him or died. Not really sure who that was, but either way, Pistola coming up big, getting that kill.
And Mikwin grabbing a couple kills himself as well, so he's ultimately going to be taken out by Ryanoob, who's got this BR just laying down cover fire the best he can here. You see Pistola just patiently waiting on Forge, looking to see if Envyus is going to be pushing, or excuse me, Allegiance is going to be pushing in, but Ryanoob predicts him with the nades, double nades him.
Yeah, that's pretty, impressive. And the thing is look at Ryanoob. You see how ruthless he is with the objective. That's why I love teaming with this guy, because he creates so many opportunities, and that's what Halo's all about. Let's see if he does the long toss. Looks like he's just going to toss that one down, but he doesn't really care about his stats. Oh, really nice killing spree. He doesn't care about anything else except getting the flag out of your base and into his own.
And they killed so many different players here. This is the opportunity for them to put that one in. Ryanoob, his mindset, you're absolutely correct. He wastes no time in making a decision. He's like, guys, I killed one, got flag. Yeah. And immediately is running up.
And then you look, we're talking about looking at, for example, Snipe Down and how he just kind of second-guessed himself, looking for the triple kill, looking for the overkill, instead of maybe just flying in and running the flag. And that split second is the, difference between these caps in these games, in these series.
A great example there. Ryanoob was top center, got a kill, and made a decision he was going to run flag, and probably pulled the flag out of the base faster than Snipe Down, who was already in the base and picked up a kill before he was able to pull it. So amazing play. Big props to Ryanoob.
Yep, and this one is 2-1 in the favor of Allegiance. However, I would say that map control is in the favor of Envy. They are waiting for this railgun, and they have another player top center. Ryanoob getting a big kill onto Pistola. Looks like it's going to be a 3-on-3 situation, and the railgun guy is taken out by Ryanoob as well. So let's see what these guys are doing. It's going to be Mikwin pushing in for the flag. He's going to pull this one. Not really sure when that camo exactly was, but he doesn't see any nades, so he's going to slow play it. Is taken down to half shields, pushing it over towards top center. Hasn't been spotted quite quite yet. It looks like Rain is going to pick up that camo at the 37, 36 mark. So Mikwen going to try to push this one in and toss it out. However, Ryanoob is coming around the corner, so if Ryanoob can get this kill on this guy in the elbow, he should be able to get a pull. But Pistol is going to say no, shut that one down. This should be a cap for Mikwen as long as nothing crazy happens. That's going to be Devin with the nade. However, it is tied up 2-2. Flag assist going over to Envy. It is all tied up.
That's a great flag run here by Envyus. I did not think they were going to be able to secure that one so well. In fact, they did, especially when Rain had camo and was immediately taken out next to Mikwen when he dropped down. But Allegiance, this is their opportunity to push in. You've got Heinz with railgun control. You got the last two members of Allegiance with Mikwen just spawning up over on the silo side of the map. If Heinz is able to get a kill here, you can absolutely give an advantage to Allegiance, potentially ending this.
Heinz is huge. He needs to be able to distract a little bit longer. He needs to be able to get kills. I don't really like the position that he was in with the railgun. However, he does get that kill, and his teammate's in really good position to stop this as well. So Heinz needs to kind of get out of the base and needs to go somewhere to be a little bit more important. I get that he's slow playing it. However, there's going to be a lot of action around him, and he has a lot of opportunity to bait. So I would like to see him kind of push out and use those advantages. And it looks like there is a player that's going to try to stop this cap. It's not going to be enough. Devin with the slam dunk.
And that timing there. You talk about this game being a game of seconds. Look how fast he wasn't even there in time. He had to have been holding pickup on that flag, and I still don't think he would have got it in time. Like, they were able to put that flag in so quickly. And take a look at these stats. Heinz, the newest member to Team Allegiance, putting on a clinic this game, 20 kills, and he was such a distraction at the end of that game, staying in the base. Only picked up one kill, but essentially brought two players from Envyus back to the base to have to deal with him.
I'll tell you what, when Heinz is shooting really well, he's one of the more frustrating players to play against because it feels like he's not necessarily missing, but he's also in really prime positions. And like I said, he's a really great overall player. So I think this team of Ryanoob, Contra, Heinz, Devin just fits so much better. No offense to Goofy, but it just fits so much better than Goofy because Heinz is just such a great overall player. And then you have Contra and Devin who really excel in slaying and staying alive. And then you have Ryanoob, who we saw doesn't care about stats, just want to go in, get that flag, pull it out of the base. And like you said, it's a game of milliseconds.
You're absolutely correct. Or actually, I'm absolutely correct. But taking a look at that, we got the Heinz and the Ryanoob combination. It is just such an aggressive team. Both of those players are the guys that think, just like, you know, the lunchbox type of players, just so quickly kill one guy, grab flag, and then at that point either sprint the flag as fast as humanly possible basically, or you need to stop and reevaluate the situation. But what you don't want to do is push into the base a little bit too late and then grab the flag and then just sacrifice a death. And so many great plays, especially from Heinz.
Yeah, Heinz, I mean, coming up huge individually. Yeah, so many team plays, and here it is right at the very end. Oh no, that was the cap from L-Town and the disrespect. Also, I'm not really sure about that disrespect and the positioning that he was kind of in. He kind of gave up a death because of that too at the same time. So, you know, a time to smack bodies and a time not to smack bodies. You know, when you're up in the series, good time. When it's tied 1-1 and you're about to lose the game, bad time.
Couldn't agree more there. And just like that, 3-2 lead advantage now in all really close games. I mean, we've had some exciting games today, a lot more than some of the previous weeks here that we've seen so far in Season 1. Just like that, 2-1 lead advantage, and we're going into the rig on Strongholds.
Yeah, and game one was Plaza Strongholds, Allegiance walking away with that one 100-93. Keep in mind, in these objective games, Kyle, Allegiance has heavily outslayed Envy. Not like necessarily double the amount of kills, but a significant amount. I would say probably 25% more kills for Allegiance, which is kind of weird considering that they actually lost the Slayer, but L-Town was going off. So overall, the way that I see this whole kind of series playing out, got to give the advantage, obviously, to Allegiance because they're up 2-1.
Yeah, not only that, but I'm glad you brought that up because that's a common theme that we see from Team Envyus as well. To be outslayed yet win a game. I mean, that convincing win against Evil Geniuses, they were literally outslayed like almost every single game besides the Team Slayer. So just like that, you know, they don't need to get kills necessarily or have people on death cam to secure caps as long as they're in the right position and moving the objective properly there. Now, interesting stat here as we get ready for the Rig Strongholds. Both teams, so Envyus 3-0 and Allegiance 1-0. So somebody's picking up their first loss here today.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And what I'm always looking for is what the beginning strategies are coming out from both of the teams because there's so many different options. I think that for the red side here, when you spawn at the actual BR tower, I think a lot of people have gone away from capturing BR base and have been just kind of flooding towards the basement immediately. So I'm expecting that. I'm expecting the railgun guy to kind of charge over towards the barrels like we saw Royal 2 do in that first series with CLG against Liquid, and then another player kind of flying into that basement window over there. I believe the best strategy from the blue side is to split up 2-on-2, send 2 people basement, 2 people nest. You do give up the railgun, obviously. The red team is always going to get the railgun, but you want to shoot that camo down, and you want to have those 2 guys that focus on basement kind of go on a camo hunting job while they secure the basement, and you be aware that that guy's coming from barrels. Meanwhile, the other 2 guys come from nest. So I believe that blue team has a little bit of an advantage here. It's just a matter of how do you necessarily want to play it, because there's so many different options.
And with the red team normally getting that railgun, it's not uncommon to see like a Royal 2 have the scattershot and railgun like so many times off the start, so consistently. Just being able to get the railgun, immediately push through barrels. You have such an advantage in any kind of 1v1 scenario you then encounter. And of course, normally scattershot guys sitting in basement either trying to contest camo or work on just capturing the basement hill.
And we're on with Pistola. He's making his way over towards that SMG area and gets hit with a grenade, so he's going to have to back down. Meanwhile, Allegiance is over there trying to capture Nest, and instead of trying to double cap it, they decide I want to add pressure and just try to single capture that, which is completely fine because they're also taking basement. So doing exactly what I was talking about, going for those 2 to give them the advantage. However, the players for Allegiance have not captured BR. However, they decide they want to make their way over towards basement with that railgun, which is exactly how we predicted.
And just like that, although the beginning opening strat went in favor of Envyus, it is quickly going in favor of Allegiance. Now, they've already got Nest, they've already got basement again, and now they're contesting BR base. It's so close to being captured, but Ryan Noob is ultimately going to be taken out. But he created a distraction long enough for his team to grab control. Ooh. You got Mikwin just jumped off the map. You got Contra with Scatter, and you got Railgun in the favor of Allegiance as well. So everything going in their advantage.
Yeah, and it looks like a team nade. It did hit somebody. Not sure how weak that took that player. However, it looks like Mikwin over there running towards the carbine. Pretty easy shots for Contra to be able to line that up. I'm pretty curious how they actually lost the nests in that area. Contra not in the best position, kind of waiting over there with the scatter shot on the railgun area. Could have potentially went over and played a little bit more aggressive once he saw people dropping. However, you know, Envy doing a really nice job of at least sneaking the nest right under the noses of Allegiance.
And Contra just able to run through the grenade and shot at L-Town, not turning around to try to, you know, finish off that one shot quickly enough. And just like that, they don't have control yet, but they are in good position to start grabbing.
Yeah, going for the ninja, that was Pistola. At least he lands the melee on the scatter shot guy, so Contra gets taken out, and Envy in a really prime position of triple cap, and it looks like everyone for Allegiance is spawning over at the BR. The good thing for Allegiance, though, at least, is that there's not enough pressure over here to really stop this here. However, Rain goes over there, gets the reset, and that's the pressure that I was talking about. They added the pressure right when they needed to, so a really nice job, but they have to choke the spawns, and they do go back. Camo's coming up soon, so Envy really prime position to try to get the camouflage, also keep this triple cap going.
And Pistola just being that wizard that we know he is, and Heinz, his duo for quite some time in the history, kind of picking up a little bit of an outplay there. Contra has that railgun, starting to pick up a few kills here, and this is Allegiance's time to get back control. Grabs him on the cankle.
Yeah, really nice shot there from Contra. The thing is that I believe Camo was burned around 43, so Contra doing his best with this railgun, but it's not enough because Envy is still able to cap that, but it looks like Basement going over to the side of Allegiance, so they want to try to trade this BR for the Basement, which is an okay setup. Again, this is one of those poor man setups here. It's not ideal. You typically want to have the nest and the basement, but at least you know that you can use this to try to get that ideal setup. So you keep them out of the nest while you still hold BR, use that little overlook area so you just throw the nades, and then once you get the numbers that you want, that's when you make your way over towards Carbine and flip the spawns and force Allegiance to try to capture that BR base.
Yeah, something you never really saw in the beginning, but more and more now you see players just, you know, take what they're given, do whatever they can with what they have to try to focus on grabbing control. And, you know, Nest is one of the hills that's generally more easily to keep people out of it.
So
you can
throw nades. Yeah, you just throw those nades in the back. They have to really walk a long way on the nest bridge and things like that. However, it looks like there is a big battle for the actual basement going on. So again, just as we were saying how Envy was going for the poor man setup, it looks like Allegiance is going to go for the poor man setup, and that's what I'm talking about. Love this play from Heinz. You use that poor man setup to go and try to rotate and try to get the basement, but he's doing it all alone. So if the other players from Envy collapse on him, it's going to be almost impossible for Heinz to capture this one. He's staying close, and he is not able to finish it. If he would have just maybe stayed in there, I believe he got out for a split second, and that split second could have cost him. Ryan trying to get over there and try to capture that as well, but it's not really looking too good if you are a Allegiance fan in this game type.
And when Pistola was on that catwalk and did not look at him, I thought that was a huge mistake and they were going to capture the hill. Unfortunately, they are not able to do so, and that's a big swing in favor of Envyus.
Yeah, and this guy in basement is really crucial, and he just wipes him out right there with the railgun, and I believe Camo is dropping, so curious to see if Rain is going to make his way over towards that. I think maybe Miquin may have grabbed it or something like that, but all I know is the Camo should have been up pretty soon, so whoever got that would be in pretty prime position in order to do some serious work, and it looks like Allegiance is getting triple capped on. It looks like that's L-Town making his way over towards that BR box, and if you are an Envy fan, this is exactly what you want to see. Miquin with the railgun, laying down the shots with the triple cap going on. All he has to do is control this Whitehall area while his teammates spread out and control spawns, because they just have to come towards you. It's going to get desperation time. Allegiance only has probably about 2 more pushes before this game's over, and they have to control a setup after they retake a setup.
And good heads-up play from Miquin, picking up that kill and then grabbing a double kill. He drops the railgun. He was, in fact, out of ammo. Still has plenty left in the scatter shot. No worry about needing to reload here for a while. Now they've got all of Allegiance spawning back by Bunker. And good job dropping down, taking advantage of the map here, and kind of maybe faking out Allegiance. I'm not sure if they knew he actually dropped down to Tower 1.
Yeah, and Ryan had no idea that that player was behind him. This is pretty much the last push for Allegiance. If Ryan can get this kill onto Miquin, that would be huge, and he does, but Ryan does get cleaned up from a nade at the same time, and that looks like that was Rain hiding behind the corner, and it looks like Allegiance possibly with a little last hope here, trying to take the nest. Devin leaves the nest, though, leaving Contra by himself. If Contra would have died, that would have been horrible for the side of Allegiance, but they still end up getting it, and it looks like Contra doing his best to fend off 3 players here. If they give any type of map control up to Rain and the rest of Envy, this could potentially be the game, and the series could be tied. Nice nades coming in. Heinz not able to do enough. The charge from Allegiance has to happen now, and that's not going to be it, Kyle.
And that was a sliver away from being stopped. They had 2 people in the nest. Now, they were still quite a ways away from bringing this game back and making it interesting, but still, great job by Envyus. And yeah, like you just said, Pistola, he must have been doing a lot of OPJ. We weren't on board with him too much, but 3 kills is not that many.
No, it's not, but the thing is you won 132 with only 3 kills. Probably a ton of assists, probably a ton of OBJ, probably a ton of callouts, you know. I would take the win over stats any day of the week. But overall, it was just such a nice job of adding pressure from Envy. We haven't seen them necessarily play that well. They played pretty good in that Slayer Coliseum game, but I would like to believe that L-Town really stepped it up. However, all of Envy individually stepping it up, coming through when they needed to, and kind of playing more as a cohesive unit than Allegiance for the first time in the entire series.
I can agree with that statement as well. Good overall play from every single one of them. Especially, you know, Miquin at the end doing some clutch things. Even Rain grabbing that last double kill in the hill, preventing that cap. Just a lot of overall good play from, you know, essentially both of these squads. I don't think Allegiance played that, you know, too poorly, you know, in any specific aspect. They were just kind of maybe getting a little bit outplayed by Envyus themselves.
I think the one thing that Allegiance could have did a little bit better was hold their setups when they had them, but not only that, control the weapons. They didn't really control railgun as much as they needed to. They didn't really control the camo as much as they needed to. So if they could have done that, then they would have seen a lot better results. However, the people from Envy landing all of their railgun shots on top of the, you know, power-ups and times. I'm sure Alumnite's in their ear letting them know in Skype what's going on. So Kyle, all in all, we're going to game 5.
We are going to game 5. You're exactly correct. There's been some exciting series today, and nobody is letting anything go by here. I would say the 2 games that Envyus won were a little bit more convincing, I would say, than the 2 games Allegiance won. But at Plaza, Slayer, we've talked about Slayers are much more of a coin flip than consistent overall play throughout the entire game, as the games, generally run shorter. Of course, you can have overtime, but it's not something we generally see.
Right.
Plaza Slayer, with these two teams going head-to-head right now, you've got Team Envyus, who's 2-0 on this map, against Allegiance, who is 1-0 on this map.
Yep, so another, game type just like Stronghold's the Rig, where both of these teams are undefeated. So, going to come down to who's getting that overshield. Commonly said in that interview how important it is to get that overshield. Typically, whoever gets the more overshields is going to win the game. And that's not just because of the actual overshield and how strong it is. It just necessarily means that you're typically in the better position, which means that you're holding nest, high dip, hotel, and forcing the other people to come from the side of the map that we're looking at right now, which is that yard side, that light rifle side of the map, to try to push their way over towards that overshield. So we're going to see a lot of snipe control here. I really want to see what the rotations are going to be, where the players bring the sniper rifle, if people are going to anchor, because if you're Allegiance and you make the same mistakes that you did in that Plaza Strongholds and you leave the sniper area of the map and enemy ends up spawning over there towards the hotel and just makes their way towards the back wall, those are huge mistakes that you can't have happen in a Slayer game.
And there's just not as much time in the game to make up for any kind of crucial mistakes like that. Now, with how the second game played out and watching L-Town be an absolute fiend on the map, that was it 21-6?
Yeah, something like that. I think it was 21-6, 21-3-6, so positive 15.
And so being that, going that ridiculous on this map, let's say he wasn't playing to that level this game, is someone else from Envyus going to be able to step this up, or is that going to be what Allegiance needs to go ahead and steal a victory here, Game 5?
It's a really good question. I'm not sure if I have the answer to that one. All I know is that we've seen, certain individuals really step up in this series. I think that we're going to see someone that we haven't really seen step up yet. I know we've seen kind of Ryanoob and L-Town almost take over for their teams. Definitely great team effort from everybody. Those are the standout players in my mind. I want to see someone else really go off. I think we're going to probably see something maybe from Contra, maybe something from Pistola. Probably one of these guys maybe known as the main Slayer on their team to step up big.
I like that statement. We've seen time and time again where L-Town's obviously had these monster games. Pistola's had a few monster games as well. I don't know if I've seen McWin or Rain in the Slayer games have any kind of monster stats like that, but of course they've always come out and shined in OBJs. So on Allegiance's end, I think a lot of it's going to come down to Hines. Contra, like I said, need him to put up big numbers. In the first couple of weeks, it was always, from what I witnessed and saw, it was always Contra doing like the most objective and putting up the best stats. So that was kind of a big change of pace. I feel like there's a lot of weight lifted off of his shoulders when he's got Ryanoob and Hines just flying in and being those super aggressive players. So really look for him to cut down on those deaths and have a nice, big positive ratio here to help propel this team to victory, because this is, it could come down to, anybody's game. Plaza Slayer, we've seen some really close games in the past, but sometimes, lots of times it comes down to these Game 5s will be a blowout. But I don't think either one of these teams is going to let that happen.
Yeah, you could see possibly we've seen steak dinners happen even in Game 5s, but I'll tell you what I wouldn't want to have happen if I was on both teams. I wouldn't want to see the sniper fall into the hands of McWin if I was on Allegiance, and I wouldn't want to see the sniper fall in the hands of Contra if I'm on Envy. So I'd be looking out for those two players, possibly the main snipers for each of the team. Anyone potentially could go off with the sniper rifle here, but also, keep in mind the coaches, Alumni sitting there behind Envy. I'm not really sure who the coach for Allegiance is, but whoever it is has to be able to, keep up with, Alumni. One of the best coaches in the game on getting these overshields, because we did see in that last game, Kyle, Allegiance not really on top of that camo, and you can't afford to be, giving up free power-ups to the second best team right now in the league.
And of course, we're going to be looking at overshield on the map as well, so we just know how beginning of this game is so important. Who gets that strong start? Now, you can always bring it back, and both of these teams are capable of coming back from a monstrous deficit, but nonetheless, like, weapons are so powerful. There's one little play can be such a big swing in the course of a game. So I think we do have the players ready. About to see our first Game 5 of the night. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map here. Of course, this is going to be Plaza Slayer, so a little bit different than the Plaza Stronghold games. but still a lot in store here. Now, you said you were most scared or most looking out for McWin from Envyus and, of course, Contra from Allegiance.
Yeah, so let's kick this one off with McWin and see what he's got in store for us now. Looks like we are going to start this one off with him, and he did make his way towards the glass. I do like this play. I think that's a pretty strong play to hold the people off at Flowers, and you can also help snipe side like we just saw. That overshield still is up, so no matter what, it's going to be pretty delayed when it comes to picking it up. Looks like that's going to be Rain making his way towards that. He picks it up at 40, so keep that in mind. McWin also getting that sniper, and that's what we were talking about. You do not want to have the sniper in the hands of McWin if you are Allegiance, and a good start here if you're Envy, getting that overshield, getting the sniper in your best sniper's hands.
And great nade by McWin, dropping down, giving just enough help, not overcommitting to the fight, immediately lifting back up, and now he's watching for spawns. He knows the enemy team is going to be spawning in Spiral, and you see Contra's head pop up right there. So what's he going to do? And what he doesn't know is that teammates must have blocked spawns. There's going to be somebody right in his face here in a moment.
Yeah, I got to watch out for that barrel if you're McWin, and there it is, the barrel running right into it. So shocked that he decided to leave that positioning. His teammates didn't communicate that he did leave the spawns. Got to look out for those Hydras. If you are Devin, those go right around the wall, takes him down to no shields. Meanwhile, he's going to pop out, goes for the no-scope. Could have lived a little bit longer. Maybe he wasn't expecting a grenade there coming from L-Town. However, that could have been a really big snowball for the side of Envy. Instead, it looks like they're just trading kills back and forth and trying to look for map positioning.
Yeah, I like where McWin's head was at, trying to run away with that sniper. It was just a little bit too early. Only one member had spawned Spiral, and no one else did. Everyone has blue, so he was literally just running that sniper right into two players.
Yeah, and Pistola is now going to be the anchor. I'm not really sure if he knows the sniper's still down in Hotel. It should be disappearing in the next couple of seconds. Looks like he doesn't want to risk it and is going to fall back and anchor. I do like that play. McWin ended up getting a double kill at the same time, so there goes Ryan, making his way over towards the snipe. Pistola is going to lift up and lay down the shots. Do a little jump there off the side, making his way towards S4. It's a 5 kill game. Looks like Rain has the sniper, so let's see what he's doing. He's going to lift up, probably tell Pistola, I got this area, you spread out. And there goes two players right there on the loop. Nice shot coming from Rain, working there with Pistola on the snipe side. Another guy coming in for the ground pound. Contra sneakily getting over there, so nice job by Contra. And that overshield's coming up in the next 15 seconds.
Lots of action happening top center, but the lead still clearly an advantage of Envy. New overshield and not enough members here to contest from Allegiance, and they risk giving up even more deaths with this coming up.
Yeah, I like that play from L-Town. I like where he was going, making his way towards the overshield. Someone's got to do it. It was just a little bit too early. We don't really know what's going on with the actual overshield right now. It could even still be on the map. So looks like someone did pick that up. I want to probably say that was Rain that got it. If I had to guess, he picked it up last time. So he must be out of it at this point, but he's doing a nice play with the SMG. However, 3 people sitting up top snipe. So probably wasn't expecting to see so many people right next to each other.
I know if I walk around that corner and see 3 people, I'm going to get a little scared for a moment there, and you can just melt so quickly. Now, Contra does have that sniper. Last shot in the chamber, picks up a headshot there.
Yeah, so they need to spread out, though. They're in pretty good position. Yeah, they have the sniper rifle, but one good grenade could just destroy all of them. They get 2 kills there, which is pretty important. The new sniper is coming up, so Pistola coming around. He needs to get some help if you're Contra, but if he can get this new snipe ammo and they can set up, that looks like that's Hines over there trying to help him. This could be a really nice setup from the side of Allegiance. So yeah, that's 2 people down for Envy. That guy that is L-Town still crouching there down below by the lift, probably going to make his way all the way around. Hines is the only line of defense, but Contra laying down some really nice shots.
And, you know, there's always the question, do I grab this sniper ammo? Do I let my sniper grab, or a teammate grab the other sniper as well? Looks like Contra does, in fact, allow his teammate to grab it, and he doesn't even finish the ammo that it was in his chamber. Looks like Rain grabs a couple shots here left, 2 bullets in the chamber, and they know Richie Hines is hiding bottom of the lift.
Yeah, and that teammate not going to do any favors to Pistola. I'm curious to see if Hines is going to be able to finish that kill off. Looks like an epic battle going down below, but Hines is going to fall back. Ola trying to get the best of him. McWin finishes up a kill on Ryanoob, and there goes Hines. He falls to the hands of Pistola. So nice job of Ola clearing out his former teammate Hines, and now map control on the side of Envy, plus the lead and overshield coming up really soon.
A lot happening on the map here, and a nice, healthy lead still for this game in favor of Envyus. They are doing a really good job of just essentially stacking themselves, basically just being so close so that if someone pops out, they can all shoot them and kill them so quickly they don't have time to react. And we've seen that twice now as Allegiance has gone up to S4, how quickly they can be taken out.
Yeah, nice nade from McWin. I like this little sneaky play from Devin. That's a pretty good trade considering all of the things that were happening on the map. And that's going to be Pistola making his way towards the overshield, grabbing that one at 726 with the sniper. So a little bit of an awkward situation when you have the sniper and the overshield because you want to be playing aggressive with that overshield, but yet when you have the sniper, you want to kind of sit back. So it looks like Ola is going to take out his pistol and make his way over there, and his overshield is getting depleted pretty quickly, but he still has half of it left. So maybe you want to drop the sniper for your teammate or kind of just play aggressive here because, again, it's kind of counterintuitive when you grab this weapon.
Yeah, I think with that OS and the way that Allegiance is kind of playing this, it is good to be aggressive in this scenario. Just keep trying to take advantage of these little leads that you have, and he's out of OS now at this point, and his sniper is on par with just about anybody.
Right.
He is just starting to do work, and I don't know if they necessarily know. Everyone's kind of rotating away from the sniper area.
Yeah, and they have a 9-kill lead at this point in the game. Pistola sitting back in pretty good position. However, people should know that he is there. So if they can collapse on him, that could be pretty big momentum for the side of Allegiance, plus the new snipers coming up. So I think a lot of this is riding on the fact that Pistola can hit these shots or not. So it's going to be pretty much up to him to kind of carry this one to kind of get the actual map control back on the side of Envy.
And did he? Oh, okay, so he did not. I thought he dropped the sniper for a second there, but he's just trying to pick up a BR the entire time. He's just going to sit here.
I like this play.
Yeah, I'd like to see L-Town wait as long as possible here as he's got so much help from his team. He's tries to stay alive, ends up dropping down. Heinz is going to go for this sniper. I just know he is. But Ola locking it down. Heinz gets taken out by McWin. McWin dies by Predevinator, and now that sniper is going to go in the favor of L-Town. And then all of Allegiance, they're going to start spawning at Spiral.
Well, here's the thing. You have Contra in a pretty sneaky spot. However, he did throw grenades, so Pistola's going to know he's there. They're waiting on the overshield. If they can get this overshield, that's going to be what they need to get back into this game. And Pistola hasn't really hit any of the shots that he needs to with the snipe, even though he was in a good position. So the timing of that death, pretty important. And Ryan crouching around the corner, getting a pretty big kill at the same time.
And I don't know if Pistola didn't have him on death cam or what that was, but Ryan being as sneaky as humanly possible, staying alive, no shields, and with that SMG just so powerful in an up-close 1v1. Sniper ends up dropping several kills, and now that 9-kill lead's down to 6.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what actually happened with the overshield. However, like you said, a 6-kill game and complete control on the side of Allegiance. So if they can get a little bit of a spree here going, the pressure is going to mount up for Envy, and they have to get a little bit scared here because this lead is just deteriorated out of nowhere.
And that was overshield in the hands of Contra, who just picked up that double kill with the help of his teammates there. He's got an SMG. It looks like they're all kind of spread out, where if anybody starts peeking out here too early, they're going to get picked off.
Well, here's the thing. They're slow playing this now on the side of Envy. You can't afford to give up any deaths from the side of Allegiance, and however, you can't afford to leave the anchoring spot at the same time. So I'm glad that Heinz is there. They're going to have to leave everybody besides Heinz. Devin does have snipe, so I feel like he should be the one that's actually anchoring while Heinz should be going in and getting the angles that's necessary. But if Devin could kind of sneak his way over here, we have the player outlined, so he could kind of get a really nice flank with the sniper while not really exposing himself to anybody too up close with an SMG or a melee. So I really do like this play, and he's making pretty much the perfect move here. And that's a nice snipe. That's going to get the pick going. It's a 3-kill lead now, Kyle.
And they are playing this so well. Now they spotted him there. L-Town trying to put in a fight, but there's too many members, and they're throwing away this lead. I would expect more people to be hiding in one spot. He does end up getting taken out. That's 2 dropping now for Envy. Several people dying all over the place now. We'll try to keep a board on who grabs that sniper, but absolutely overshield, and this is probably going to be the last overshield we see this game.
Yeah, this is definitely the most important overshield, I would say, of their entire HCS Pro League, and that's when you can't afford to be giving up deaths that are not even close near the overshield. Ryan getting taken out. I'm really curious why everyone was in that particular position when the overshield was coming up. I believe that's going to be L-Town waiting for that one. If they would have just sat back, it would have been a 3-kill game. They would would have had the overshield, they could have charged with it. We could be seeing a completely different scenario right now.
After, I think it was Rain got sniped, I would have loved to see Allegiance just pull back, reset, and wait for him to spawn again. But they overcommitted, they ended up dying, they give up overshield, they give up snipe, and they give up their momentum closing out or bringing this game back. And just like that, 7-kill lead now with 3 minutes left. No more overshield, doesn't look, there's a new sniper up, doesn't look like anyone has one currently in their hands. And that is now going to go in the hands of Mikwin, and that's a scary thing to think about.
I like this play from Contra. He realized that I have to kill Mikwin. However, Mikwin is sitting there crouching with SMG, so it's going to be pretty hard for anyone to be able to take him down. Ryan doing a smart job of not overcommitting to that one. Hits him with a pretty nice nade. However, there is a splinter. That nade isn't going to finish him off. Ryan gets taken out by Mikwin. Hines with a double kill, though, so 48 to 43. It's only a 5-kill game. 7 kills for the side of Allegiance, 2 more kills for the side of Envy. Be able to finish this one off. Devin is making his way over there. L-Town is crouching around the corner. He can't afford to trade kills at this point. However, that's not even a trade. That's going to be 1 more kill for Envy to walk away with this series. Let's see if they're able to finish this one off. Looks like Pistola trying to get the last kill, and he does. Hines challenging when he doesn't need to. However, great series overall. Envy walks away victorious 3-2.
And it looked like Pistola was about to pick up a kill on a guy on, Cinema Stairs, but Hines jumps out. I liked where his head was at, trying to go out there. If they have 49 kills, you do need to have everyone on your team essentially making plays, but he needed to thrust forward with that SMG and actually pick up that kill, but instead thrusts backwards, gets hit by a nade a little bit, and Pistola with the perfect shots takes him out.
Yeah, and we talked about, we even called it out, the major mistake that we saw happening. Once Rain got picked off with the sniper rifle there. I believe that was Devin getting the kill. They didn't need to continue to pursue that. They could have just backed off, reset, relocated with the sniper rifle, realized that overshield's coming up in the next 10 seconds, and that they could just bait that overshield. There's no way that Envy's going to give the free overshield. You could just pick those guys off, potentially get 1 or 2 more, bring it into a 1 or 2 kill game, and have control with all of the weapons and the power-ups. Completely different game at that point.
I mean, Allegiance was extremely impressive this game, but it looks like a few crucial mistakes really changed the outcome of the series for them. And on the flip side, you had Envy coming out and proving that they're one of the best teams, getting outslayed, but still putting up fight and winning games even. Just overall, fantastic performance from them once again.
Yeah, and the thing is nothing was guaranteed. Envy could have potentially still not even made it into that top 4 if they were continue to lose out, which is, not very unrealistic considering the amount of pressure that is on these players. However, that was nearly a must-win for Allegiance considering that Renegades has now gotten that win against Evil Geniuses and kind of solidified themselves in that top 4 area. So really big series coming up for both Allegiance and Renegades tomorrow. Curious to see how those are going to play out. But maybe just that one minor mistake of being too aggressive could be the difference between getting top 4 and moving to that LAN tournament, or possibly, dropping in and not making it in.
And just like that, we have Team Envyus take the series, 3rd match of the night, 3-2, and a fantastic performance from both of these teams, putting in an absolute show for us. Very entertaining to watch, an exciting series as well. Right, now, that was... I kind of predicted that to happen. I didn't think it would be as close. Allegiance is just doing so much better ever since they replaced Goofy with Hines, and he's just fitting so well on the team. And just with that being said as well, like we said before, that series could have easily gone either way. A couple crucial mistakes determined the outcome of the game. And we see that time and time again every single week here. And it's just up to these players to work out all the kinks to, first make it to finals, and then showcase their skills and just cut back and have as little mistakes as possible when it comes to that finals event tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Allegiance, the games that they won, pretty close games. However, they really outslayed Envy, and if L-Town didn't go off in that Slayer Coliseum with that 21-6, it wouldn't have been 50-41. It could have been a 3-0 for Allegiance. And what would we be saying then if Allegiance 3-0'd the supposedly number 2 team here at the HCS Pro League? Now they're officially the number 2, ranked team after that win. However, E6 still has games coming up. So, just super small mistakes and could have been a completely different story.
And speaking of L-Town and his dominating performance, we are going to be joined by him on Skype with us. L-Town, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
Doing pretty well, and I understand we've got an appearance by some of your teammates as well in the background there.
Say hi, guys. Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys got to be feeling good after that win. Tell us a little bit about that series and if this is what you were kind of expecting going in to go to a Game 5 with Allegiance.
Well, yeah, we definitely expected it to be a tough series, especially after we missed vetoes. So, all 5 game types are going to be one of their favorites. But just happy that we got to close it out.
And what was going through your head individually, especially in that game too, when you put up those monstrous stats? We've seen that out of you a lot in my memory here on Regret Slayer, but never on Coliseum Slayer. Have you made the new L-Town home here?
Yeah, I mean, it might be the new Regret map. Can't just be Regret every time.
So you're talking about the vetoes. How did you guys end up actually missing the vetoes, and how much do you actually care about the veto system? Because you don't ever want to go in playing, your 5 worst game types and their 5 best game types.
I mean, my excuse was I was doing this Beyond 2v2 tournament, and it was also my travel day. I just got to the house, but my teammates didn't want to remind me, so I'm gonna put the blame on them.
So you had 3 excuses right there.
That's
3
what excuses I heard. Right there.
In about 2 sentences, I heard 3 excuses. So what's it like
much.
having everybody? We've seen this be, a lot more common. Evil Geniuses getting the team house. Obviously, you have Renegades commonly flying over to Penguin's place. How beneficial is it for you guys to not only play there together as a team, but also to have that bonding experience, in between series and afterwards, in order just to kind of get to know each other on a more personal level?
It's definitely huge because whatever mistakes we make, we could go over right away and just not talk about it. Because usually online, you can't really see the exact mistakes because people get lazy, don't want to go to theater. But if we're all at the same house, you get to see it right on the spot. But actually, Pistolo's not here, so he's the only one that's missing from the house. But it's still pretty huge.
Do you guys have plans on getting Pistola there anytime soon, or is he going to kind of be the lone wolf when it comes to playing at home?
He'll make a special appearance tomorrow.
Gotcha. And what is it like playing, as lots of teams have this situation, but a lot of them don't, where the actual coach is there with you as well? So how does Marcus play a role, or Alumni there for everyone watching as well, play a role, having him coach, and then, of course, he can see more screens as well than just the one or some sort of Skype share screen.
Yeah, he slows us down, especially in that game 5 when we had a lead and we started giving them free kills. He just told all of us to calm down, stop giving easy picks. So it definitely helps out because he can see all screens. And I don't want to be that guy, but he especially helps out McWin. They're just holding forward too much, and he just tells them to relax. Helps out.
See, McWin loves that comment as well, because that was getting pretty interesting. You guys had a solid, consistent 9-kill lead or so throughout the game, and then they knocked it down to 3 kills after they picked up a snipe, and then all of a sudden they had just fallen apart. Like, what other kind of comms? What were they like going in for everybody?
I mean, it did get a little hectic at first, but then Marcus helped out, and we all relaxed, and then we just said what we're gonna do, and we just played a 2x2. We just made sure if one of us was gonna die, we'd at least get the trade kill.
So I believe mathematically now that you guys are officially locked in for a top 4 spot moving in to the LAN tournament. What is your guys' focus now? Are you still focused on match by match leading up? Are you maybe focused on that actual LAN tournament, or just kind of getting better as a team? Where are you guys at mindset-wise?
Definitely taking it every match and just getting better every match. And we want to finish at least second in the league. So that's our goal.
Cool.
Good deal. Well, L-Town, we definitely appreciate you joining us. Make sure you say hi to the rest of the squad there. And, of course, best of luck here tomorrow, and congratulations. We'll see you in the finals.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, now you heard it from them. Great performance, and just the advantage of having everyone be in one central location, and then of course for the coach as well, having that many more screens and no kind of delay to actually watch and participate in the comms. Like a close, hectic game like that coming down to the wire, if someone's watching the screen and they're 10 seconds behind, they're going to be a non-factor when it comes to how it plays out.
I can only imagine how great it is to have that feeling of winning and all kind of being together. But when you look at a team, for example, like Evil Geniuses all together, and on the losing end of that, where do they begin to kind of, rethink and reset from this point? Because there's probably just a lot of negative energy built up from all of those losses and just disappointment overall. So really curious to see how they're going to be able to bounce back. Meanwhile, Envy saying that they want to be the second best team, and that's a really bold statement considering that E6 is looking so hot and also has that biggest winning streak in the HCS Pro League. So we're really kind of solidifying who's going to kind of be in that top 4 area. Obviously, Allegiance mathematically still does have a chance, but Renegades coming up really big today, and Allegiance could have potentially came up really big, but Envy said no.
Agreed. Now, of course, we do have the article of the week as well, and that is going to be the collaboration here, essentially, between what 343 has been doing, interacting and participating with all of the pro players in order to make one of the strongest and most competitive game types possible. So you can check out that link or article here at the bottom of your screen. Just great job, and it's so awesome to see over the years how involved the developers are becoming and what 343 is doing to help Halo kind of progress and become the most competitive game out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really well-written article. I believe, was that the article that was from ESPN as well? So I think that, you know, it's great to see ESPN getting involved. I think it's a very well-written article, some really great, you know, whatever you want to call them, metaphors or whatever about other games, and also comparisons, if you will, on about, you know, past Halo games at the same time. So really love what 343 is doing, love what ESPN's doing. Esports just growing so much as a whole, and it feels such a, you know, it's so great to be a part of this thing.
But you heard it there from L-Town as well. Envyus is looking to be the second best team, but you know who else is looking to be the second best team, and that's going to be Enigma 6. And coming up right after this break, we're going to have Optic Gaming for our last match of the night going up against Enigma 6. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.